One type of while loop that is used quite commonly is called the count-controlled loop, where you want to execute a set of statements a given number of times. So you might want to be able to, for example, maybe you want to calculate interest on a bank account for 10 years, or you want to process X number of records. Any of those are examples of what are called count-controlled loops. So the one we're going to look at in this lesson is going to be calculating an average of grades, and the count is going to control how many grades that we enter. So to perform a count-controlled loop, the first thing you need is a counter variable. So I'm going to introduce that first. Oops, let's go, here we go. There we are. Then we're going to keep track of, we're going to calculate the average of 5 grades. So we need a variable for a grade. And then we need a variable for the average. And we'll go ahead and set that equal to 0 to start, although we didn't have to do that. So then what we want to do is we want to, inside the while loop, we want to prompt the user to enter a grade, and then add that to a sum. So we also need a variable that's keeping track of the sum. We can add that right here, and even assign it 0 like that. So our while loop is going to look like this. While count is less than or equal to 5, and then inside the loop we want to prompt the user to enter a grade, get the grade from the user, oops, there we go, and then add that grade to the sum. And that's what we're going to do inside the loop. And then the last part, and the most important part, is increment count by 1. And that's very important because in a while loop, there always has to be a statement that is executed that will eventually make the relational expression inside the while loop false. Without that, the loop is going to run forever, what's called an endless loop. So then once we're outside the loop, then we can say average is equal to sum divided by count. Now the problem with this is the count is actually going to go above 5 in the last iteration of the loop, so we really want to say count minus 1. And then we're going to write out the average. I'll just write it out by itself. So let's run this program, then we'll come back and summarize what we've done. Put this where you can see a little bit better. So to make this real easy, I'm going to do even numbers. So we're going to do 60, and then 70, and then 80, and then 90, and then 100. Now you see we have a problem, and I do this on purpose. We'll do another 100. There. Notice what happened. It actually allowed us to go in 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's a very common problem. What we needed to do is we needed to start our counter at 1 instead of 0. So let's try that again. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it stops. The other problem that comes out is when you forget to increment the what I call the loop control variable, count, right here. So now when we run this again, $60, $70, $80, $90, $100, $100, $100, $100, $100. It's just going to continue forever because it's not we're not modifying the variable count. So somewhere in your loop body in the block, you have to have a statement that modifies the loop control variable so that this expression, this relational expression, will eventually become false. Very quickly, let's look at another example. I'll just comment all this out. And let's say we have a balance on an account. And we have a rate of return that we're going to get. Then we can say so here we're going to, this is a simple interest problem where for 10 years we're going to multiply the balance times the 2% rate to get a new balance. And then when we're finished, after 10 years, this account will be worth $1,218.99 if we don't put any money into the account. And this is another example of a count-controlled loop. We're counting up to 10. Int years is equal to 1, while years is less than or equal to 10. So with that, we've wrapped up this lesson on count-controlled loops.